Hi guys, welcome back to the vlog. Look, I'm gonna do something this week that I have not done before. I'm gonna tell you about it in just a second, but before that, this channel is meant for purely myself to explore different topics, different ideas, things I'm passionate about, share things that I know, things that I've learned that I feel would be of interest to you. And one of those things happens to be something I'm passionate about, and that is Photoshop. Obviously, Premiere is something I've talked about. I've not done any tutorials up to this point, and this episode is going to be somewhat of a Photoshop tutorial, okay? Basically, here's what it is. I'm going to show you how to do some Photoshop manipulation, okay? How to create this image right here. Now, I'm not going to pretend that this is some insane work of art. It's really quite simple. But if you've been just kind of wanting to get into Photoshop or photo manipulation, some would call it fictional photography, this is kind of a good gateway for you to learn a few things and maybe just try it out yourself. Honestly, the best way to learn any of these types of things is just to watch, first of all, watch something like what I'm doing right now, and then just simply try it, right? Go out and do it. Set up your camera, do the steps that I talk about in this video, and just try it and bring everything into Photoshop and mess around with it. That's really the best way to learn anything, is just to do it hands-on and just go full tilt. So hopefully this is an interesting vlog. Hopefully it's helpful for you. I'm gonna go through step by step and do a little bit of a tutorial. Other than that, if you're not interested in Photoshop, you're not interested in photo manipulation, and you think that the image I just showed you is just utterly and completely just terrible, then you can just click away and go somewhere else and watch another video. But if this is interesting to you and you want to know how I created this, then stay tuned, and you might learn something. You should definitely learn something. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright guys, what did I use for this shoot? I have a Canon 5D Mark II, and I used a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. I have a tripod, it's a Benro Aero 4, and an off-camera flash, it's the Yongnuo 600EX RT, and a receiver. Of course, the scissors, the clear packing tape, and a desk, also important. So, and the model, can't forget the model, my daughter. Now let's go ahead and set up. We've got the tripod and the camera. We're gonna set things where we want to see it and start visualizing what should be in the scene. So if you want to move papers around, whatever your scene you're creating, just start to go ahead and visualize that. I've got my flash, so we're gonna do a quick test with the light, and kind of it's a lot of testing. Obviously, I kind of wanted to clear those papers off, so then I made a few adjustments, and you're just going to have to keep making some adjustments until you kind of get the scene right. Another thing I'm going to do as far as the focus here is put an object where your subject will be to set the focus. Okay, so now you have your focus, and you can pop that focus back to manual, and there you go. That's where your subject is going to be, and you can get your establishing shot at that point. Now for the clear packing tape, we're going to go ahead and put that on our scissors. And the reason I want the scissors in the scene is because, I could shoot the scissors anywhere, but I want the light to be consistent. I want it to be the same throughout. So by hanging the scissors right where it needs to be, I can get the lighting right. And so that looks pretty good. Alright, so now with our model, you're going to have to direct your model, tell her what to do, and you're going to want to get a bunch of different shots, different poses, different positions, so that you have enough to work with in post. So let's jump right into the computer. You can see I selected the best ones and brought them into Photoshop. There's the scissors, of course. We're going to cut it out and we're going to put it into one of these scenes, and that's why we have a bunch of different takes. We can find the best place for that scissors to fit. so go ahead, let's go ahead and cut that out. You're gonna need the pen tool. If you want a shortcut for this, it's P. Hit the P key on your Mac and get started. Now this part, I'm gonna forewarn you, you have to really kind of enjoy doing this because it's tedious. There's no other way to cut this out other than to use the pen tool. Now make sure that you do select right up top, you want to make sure that there's no fill. You just want the pen tool and the line so that you can see what you're cutting out. And let's go ahead and cut out the center now. A bunch of this I'm just going to speed up. Now I will forewarn you again that this is tedious. A lot of clicking, pulling, adjusting handles. I used to have a job where I did this for 8 hours a day. So I got quite good at doing I got quite good at using the pen tool, but there's really no other way to really get the practice other than just to put the time in. So that's what you're gonna have to do. And then you want to go ahead and hit Command click on the shape layer. That'll give you the marching ants around your shape. So go ahead and Command click, and once that's selected, then you can go to your scissors layer and hit delete. And you've got an empty space. So go ahead and do that with everything. I'm going to speed through this, and we're just doing the same thing. We're just cutting out the scissors. Boom. All right, now of course we have that tape spot there, and I'm gonna hit the J key, which is the patch tool. There's a bunch of different tools. I'm not gonna go through the best ones to use. I just happen to use this one a lot. You can see I'm clicking and dragging, and I'm just getting rid of some of the tape spots, and I'm just gonna fast forward through this, but that's how you can achieve that. So let's go ahead and put the scissors into a scene and just kind of start playing with it. We can just drop it in there, drag it around, kind of see where it might fit best. I actually don't think I want it in this image, so I'm going to drag it to right there. And again, you can start adjusting it. I'm going to hit Command T on your keyboard, and you can just turn it around side to side and see where it might fit in best. Now once we actually want her hands to be in front, I added a layer mask to the scissors, and I made the opacity such that I can see behind the scissors, and I'm just going to start cutting out. Again, make sure you're set to no fill, and I'm going to start just cutting out around her arm, because what we want to do is we want her hand and her arm there to pop in front of the scissors. Again, this is tedious, and I'm actually doing this a little bit kind of rough cut, and I'm going to go back and finesse it later. But again, make your marching ants, and then go to the mask and hit delete. So you're not actually deleting anything from the scissors layer, but there you go. The hand is nice and forward. So again, a rough around her arms, and then let's pop that through by deleting the layer mask portion. So there we have it, and you know, we can put the opacity back up and just kind of play around and see what that looks like. We can at least now start to see it taking shape. It's nowhere near done. This is an interesting photo. We could kind of leave it like that. She's holding a giant scissors. But in our case, I wanted to shrink her and the scissors. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to create a rough outline around her right here. And we're going to go back later and make that a nicer outline and everything. But for now, we just want to cut her out and grab her, put her on a new layer, and we're going to select her and the scissors together. And that way we can start messing around with making her smaller and putting her on the desk. So, all right, so let's go ahead and grab those two layers. We're going to click and drag over to the empty scene that we created earlier. And obviously she's up in the air. So let's bring her back down and start resizing her to whatever we want. Kind of figure out where she might fit best in the scene. And again, you can see when I zoom in here, I'm just looking for a rough, kind of where can we put her, but you can see that she's not cut out really well. I just did a rough cut. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead in interest of time and skip to the final image here. As I zoom in, you can see I did cut out very carefully around her. Now, there's a lot more to make this convincing. I did add some shadows, some shading, and of course you can see the reflection of the scissors in the desk as well. There's a lot more that you could do to make this scene more convincing if you had time. But I just wanted to show you that this is very doable. It's really not that hard, but it does take a lot of time, patience, and planning. I ended up blacking out the computer screen so that there weren't any reflections there. I touched up the walls just a little bit and the desk, and that's pretty much it. Added a little bit of shadows here and there, but you know what? That's the final image for now. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. You know what? Photo manipulation is a whole lot of fun, and that's what you should do, is you just go out and have fun with it. Don't worry about the techniques, don't worry about messing up, because you're gonna mess up. But the best way to get into it is just to go out with your camera, set up the scene and just go for it. Bring it into post, and if you did something wrong, take note of it, do it differently the next time. I mean, hopefully watching this was helpful for you. If for nothing else, just to let you know that you can absolutely do it, but the best way is just to go out and do it. I know that sounds super simple and cliche, but people get tripped up in the details. I am gonna be really critical for just a second and say that this particular image that you just saw, that I just created, is really not a stunning image. I'm not kidding myself. It's really just an example image for this vlog. If I really wanted to make this interesting, it would have a few other things going on for it. Maybe, for instance, there would be something in the picture that was slashed, right? Or cut. So that maybe the story was this girl who was holding this giant scissors, maybe she went and cut something in the background, and that's why she has that expression on her face, and might just add a little more interest. But the purpose of this was really just to give you a tutorial, put a little bit more thought into it than I did, and you'll definitely come out with a pretty cool image. But again, I can't stress this enough, is just go out and just do it. Just try it. If you create an image that you want to share with me, I would love to see it. Post in the comments below. Let me know how I can check it out. As always, folks, don't forget to be yourself and better yourself. See you next time.